To deliver the keynote address is our event partner and sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President and Chief Executive Officer of PruLife UK, Mr. Antonio Manuel de Rosas.
Thank you for the introduction. Your Excellency Armando Tetango, Governor of the Central Bank of the Philippines. Your Excellency Franz Jessen, EU Ambassador to ASEAN. Gunter Taus, ECC President. Ambassadors of EU member countries, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure for PruLife UK to be one of the sponsors of the 2017 ASEAN-EU Business Summit, and for me to have the opportunity to address you this morning. In my keynote remarks today, I would like to say something about how the insurance industry drives economic growth in ASEAN, and in particular, how we can address one of the major challenges in the Philippines today, which is the lack of protection in place for many of our citizens. I myself was not exempt from experiencing the consequences of having inadequate protection for my own family when my father suffered from cancer and who eventually passed away 10 years ago. My parents had more than enough savings for their retirement since we were a prudent expatriate family living abroad until I completed my studies and joined the workforce. However, they did not have any life insurance coverage. And when funds were needed to cover for my father's medical expenses, my parents' savings were significantly depleted as we tried to get the best cancer treatment for my father for almost 2 years until his death. After that experience, I made sure my family had more than adequate financial protection to cover for critical illness and untimely death, notwithstanding that I'm currently running one of the leading life insurance companies in the Philippines. European insurance companies have a long history in ASEAN markets. My own company, Prudence, has maintained a presence in the region for over 90 years, starting in Malaysia, then the Malay States in 1924. Today, there are 25 European insurance companies operating across ASEAN. They make a significant contribution to the population's savings, investment, and protection needs. They are also major investors in the region with total assets in excess of $80 billion US. The insurance industry is a major employer in ASEAN. For example, PruLife UK employs around 630 people here in the Philippines, of which 65% are women and about 71% belonging to the millennial generation, a testament to the country's young and expanding labor force. The average age of our employees is 32 years old. We have trained and provided entrepreneurship opportunities to our close to 16,000 strong agency force. And every day, by issuing policies, we help protect the financial futures of our growing customers, which as of end of 2016, exactly 20 years after Prudential's Philippine subsidiary was established, reached 245,000 individuals who trust us with their 330,000 insurance policies. As we move forward, we believe big opportunities abound. About 41% of our business come from Metro Manila, and a majority of our clients come from the affluent and high-income market. Regional development and financial inclusion, among other factors, are to shape the future of the life insurance business in the Philippines. The ASEAN economic community is growing and providing more wealth to people in our region. This means that the demand for insurance protection is also growing. However, penetration rates, the percentage of GDP spent on insurance premiums, remain very low. Many countries in ASEAN demonstrate a worrying savings and protection gap as populations grow older and increasingly wealthy. In 2015, the penetration rates across ASEAN stood at just over 3%, well below the global average of over 6%. The insurance gaps in the Philippines are notably large. Although we are a country prone to natural disasters, we have natural catastrophe underinsurance in excess of 1% of GDP. It is critically important that governments in this region have in place an effective disaster risk management plan. Proper planning can, 1, reduce the economic impact of a natural catastrophe, 2, lower pressure on the government's budget, 3, speed up disaster recovery, and 4, support growth and development. Both the public and private sector have a role to play to protect individuals and businesses. Pre-event finance solutions, in particular, can help to reduce the burden on governments, which are often expected to support private rebuilding efforts on top of the costs of relief and recovery. The Mortality Protection Gap. By this I mean when a working family member dies, the difference between the resources their family has and what they need to maintain their living standards is growing across Asia. Swiss Re estimate the gap at 58 trillion US dollars. In the Philippines, the gap is 372 billion US dollars and has grown by $50 billion in the past 5 years. But what we can imagine is the real hardship that families will face if they lose their main wage earner. The average sum insured for a person with dependents in the Philippines is only 1,300 US dollars, or about 66,000 pesos. For the average Filipino family taking home approximately 267,000 pesos a year, or about 22,000 pesos a month, this is less than 3 months of combined income. Consumer education is needed to inform people about the benefits of being protected. This is a responsibility for the industry and government working together. We as insurance companies also have to develop products that appeal to a wider range of customers, including the most vulnerable in our society. And although we have a huge reach across the islands of the Philippines, we will continue to build our agency force to reach new customers and as well look at new ways to connect with them. Early this year, PruLife UK partnered with Deutsche Gesellschaft für international Zusammenarbeit (GIZ) with the aim to address financial literacy and provide low-cost life insurance products to the members of the low-income sector. GIZ is a German development agency that provides services in the field of international development cooperation. They have been implementing projects to promote economic, ecological, and social development in the Philippines on behalf of the German government. Through this collaboration, PruLife UK will launch an initiative to distribute micro-insurance products to the rural community databases provided by GIZ. To complement this further, Comlink Inc., our digital distribution partner, will create online community portals where the select GIZ communities will be provided financial literacy advocacy materials to help and encourage individuals in their decision to provide micro-insurance products. Beyond our commitment to providing best-in-class savings and protection products for our customers, we take our social responsibility very seriously. Through our Prudence Foundation, we partner with local NGOs and undertake programs to help children, particularly preschoolers, by preparing them with early learning and development, enhance educational opportunities, particularly in financial literacy for both children and women, and enhance disaster preparedness and recovery in areas most prone to natural disasters. Before closing, I would like to say a word about the relationship between the insurance sector and long-term investment in ASEAN economies. For an economy to grow to its full potential, it needs a strong financial system. Banks specialize in taking deposits and short-term lending. Insurance companies have a longer-term perspective. We make long-term commitments to our policyholders and have stable long-term cash flows. We need to invest this cash on behalf of our customers, almost exclusively within the same country, to achieve long-term returns for them. This makes insurance companies ideal sources of funding for government and for business or commercial projects with a multi-year time horizon. This accumulation and deployment of premiums transforms dormant capital from vast numbers of policyholders into productive long-term capital to support economic growth. Insurance companies' appetite for long-term debt and equity also support the growth of capital markets. This provides an alternative to bank for corporate and project finance. The additional sources of funding, especially for long-term projects, is bound to benefit business growth, including among small, medium enterprises. The way that insurance companies invest, able to ride out short-term fluctuations in the market, also add to economic resilience. Insurance companies do not have the same need for liquidity as banks, and so are forces for stability in the markets. To give an idea of the powerful effect of life insurance on a country's wealth, a study in Indonesia showed that for every dollar spent on life insurance, added more than $3 to GDP. It demonstrated that on current trends, the life insurance sector could add 9% to Indonesia's GDP by the year 2030, worth between 380 to 530 billion US dollars to Indonesia. Here in the Philippines, PruLife UK achieved compounded annual growth rate of 27% in the past 8 years from 2009 to 2016. The demand from consumers exists to continue this growth story. It will be a major benefit to the Philippine economy. In conclusion, Prudential and other European insurers remain committed to strengthen our industry throughout the ASEAN region, cooperating with governments, the private sector, and civil society. A healthy and dynamic insurance industry will provide ASEAN peoples with the protection they need when tragedy strikes. We are part of the fabric of our local communities. We are invested for the long term, and our growth goes hand in hand with the growth of the economies in ASEAN. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.